There's a second state in GTA 6. It's called Gloriana. It's on license plates in Trailer 2. Rockstar quietly paid a fan $2,000 for the website, and half of YouTube is telling you it's confirmed. It's not. But one piece of evidence is genuinely hard to explain away. And it's not the one everybody's posting. Quick catch-up. GTA 6 is set in the state of Leonida, Rockstar's version of Florida, with Vice City as the Miami stand-in. That part's confirmed, straight from Rockstar. Gloriana is different. Gloriana is a name that shows up inside the game world, on license plates, and Rockstar has never said a single word about it. Not confirmed, not denied, nothing. Here's what makes it interesting. Gloriana is obviously Georgia, the state that borders Florida in real life. But look at the naming. Real Georgia is named after King George II. Gloriana was a nickname for Queen Elizabeth I. That's not an accident. That's Rockstar's exact brand of joke. Take a real place, rename it after a different English monarch, keep the logic intact. Somebody sat down and built that name on purpose. So, Gloriana isn't random background noise. The question is how much it means. 3 pieces of evidence, and the third one is the only one that survived. Evidence number 1, the license plates. May 2025, Trailer 2 drops. Eagle-eyed fans, shout out to GTA 6 Intel who caught this, spot vehicles rolling around with plates that don't say Leonida. They say State of Gloriana. Cars, motorcycles, not one frame, multiple. Then it gets better. Inside the rusty anchor, that dive bar from the trailer, there are vintage Gloriana plates hanging on the wall as decoration. Plates spanning multiple decades. Rockstar built a fake license plate history for a state they have never mentioned. And they show up in official Rockstar screenshots too, not just trailer frames. So that's it, right? Second state confirmed. No, and this is where every other video stops, and I'm going to keep going. Hold that thought, because there's a completely boring explanation for this, and I'll get to it. Evidence number 2, Mount Kalaga National Park. It's a confirmed GTA 6 location, and it looks a lot like Providence Canyon State Park, which is in Georgia. Same red-orange eroded canyon walls, same look. People took that and ran with it. Kalaga looks like Georgia, therefore Kalaga is in Gloriana, therefore Gloriana is playable. Here's the problem. Nobody has established that Mount Kalaga is in Gloriana. Nobody. Not Rockstar, not the leaks, not the trailer. All the resemblance proves is that Rockstar looked at Georgia for visual reference. That's it. Studios pull reference from everywhere. Red Dead's Lemoyne borrows from a handful of real states at once, and it's still one map. So evidence number 2 isn't evidence. It's a resemblance with a conclusion stapled to it. Which brings us to the one that actually made me sit up. Evidence number 3. This is the good one. May 2025, right after Trailer 2, a Reddit user grabs the domain visitgloriana.com. Pure joke. Points it at Rockstar's official GTA 6 page, forgets about it. End of 2025, a middleman shows up. Offers about $600 for the domain. The guy says no. So the offer comes back, and I'm quoting the reporting here, much more aggressive. They settle around $2,000. The story goes public January 15th, 2026. Now, $2,000 is nothing. Take-Two makes that in the time it took me to say this sentence. That is not the part that matters. This is the part that matters. Look at who the registrar is now. MarkMonitor. That is the same firm that runs RockstarGames.com. That is the same firm that manages Rockstar's fake in-game websites, the parody sites they build for real locations in their games. Rockstar didn't just buy a domain. They filed it into the same cabinet as their actual game infrastructure. And look at the name itself. Visit Gloriana. That's tourism site phrasing. And building parody tourism websites for in-game regions is a thing Rockstar has always done. That one is hard to wave off. Okay, now the part nobody's doing. The case against. The plates? Georgia Cars in Florida is the single most normal site in the actual state of Florida. Go stand on I-95 for 10 minutes. Out-of-state plates aren't a map leak. They're realism. And vintage plates on a dive bar wall is set dressing. Neither one requires you to ever drive to Gloriana. The domain? Companies buy defensive domains constantly. Any name that shows up in your marketing, legal grabs the URL. It's trademark hygiene. It is genuinely, boringly routine. And here's the thing you should actually be suspicious of. A lot of Gloriana's momentum is circular. The GTA wiki page says Gloriana is due to appear. That wiki is user-edited. Anyone can type that. Facebook groups post Georgia confirmed. Then articles cite the buzz, and the buzz cites the articles. Nobody's citing Rockstar. because Rockstar hasn't said anything. That's how a rumor gets loud, without ever getting any more true. Here's the context that actually answers the launch versus DLC question. Because Rockstar has built a second region before, and how they did it tells you almost everything. GTA 5, North Yankton. An entire snowy state, fully modeled. But you only ever see it in scripted missions, the prologue, and one heist flashback. You cannot freely drive there. It exists, it's real, and it's locked. Red Dead Redemption. Mexico. In the files, technically reachable, but story-gated and only late in the game. Then Red Dead 2 gives you Garma, that island chapter. Playable, but only during one stretch of the story, then sealed off for good. See the pattern? When Rockstar builds a second region, it exists and you can freely explore it are two completely different sentences. So even if Gloriana is fully built and sitting right there on the disc, that does not mean you get to road trip across it on day one. Rockstar's own track record says, probably not. So where does this actually land? Gloriana exists as a name in GTA 6. Confirmed, you can see it. It's based on Georgia. Effectively certain. Rockstar bought the domain through their real registrar. Documented. Gloriana as a playable state you can drive to? Unconfirmed. Speculation. And whether it's in at launch, or DLC, or just a sign on a highway, nobody knows. Anyone telling you otherwise is guessing with confidence. My honest read, the plates and the canyon are nothing. The MarkMonitor domain is the only real signal on the board, and it's a signal, not a confirmation. It says Rockstar cares about the name. It doesn't say you get to go there. GTA 6 lands November 19th. We'll know then. So what would actually settle this? 3 things, and you should ignore anything that isn't one of them. 1. A Rockstar Newswire post, their official site, that names Gloriana out loud. That's the gold standard. 2. VisitGloriana.com actually goes live as a real parody tourism page, the way their in-game websites always do. 3. A verified map leak from a credible source. Not a Twitter render, not a Reddit trust me. Until one of those 3 lands, everything else is just noise dressed up as news. Bookmark that checklist and watch this channel. If Gloriana is real, you'll hear it here first. And if it's nothing, I'll tell you that too. That's the whole deal on this channel. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you want the rest of the map, everything Rockstar has actually confirmed about Leonida, that one's right there.